What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys an extra special VGC 2016 battle. Today we're going up against LegacyVGC, a very well-known player on the West Coast. He normally makes top 8, top 16 at a bunch of events every year, and I had the luck to actually hit him on the very first day ladder got released. So we're going up against probably one of the best people that I'm going to probably play against before I have a chance to go to regionals, and it's a great opportunity to test stuff as well as scout a little bit of what some of my opponents I would be playing in top 8 would be using. So Legacy, as you can see, is using Kang, Primal Groudon, Shedinja, and Kyogre, while we're using the Tried and True Rotom Sceptile, Ferrothorn, and Crest. Note that I'm not bringing any of my Ubers this game, and we're just fighting the Uber army with straight VGC 2015 tech. So without further ado, we're going to start this thing off, get right into it, and let's see if VGC 2015 can hold up against one of the better players on the West Coast. So I'm leading Rotom Sceptile, and the main reason I brought this lead specifically was because I didn't really know if it was him. I talked to him over Twitter after this, but I was like, well, I'm using an alt account, so he's not going to know it's me. But if I lead Rotom Sceptile, he will know it's me, and even if I lose, it's whatever. This ended up being a really fun game, and that's the reason why I'm uploading it. So we see Groudon, going Primal. It's going to activate Desolate Land. It's going to make all Fire-type moves get boosted, and it's going to make Water-type moves unable to be used as long as Groudon's on the board. It's super good, and Groudon is probably the best new Uber coming out. It's either him or Xerneas. Groudon or Xerneas are probably the best two. But anyways, I also have a really cool Pokemon. I have Mega Sceptile. This thing has Lightning Rod, and also Legacy has Mega Kangaskhan. So I do feel that I'm in a very losing position this first turn of the game. He has Primal Groudon and Mega Kang, and it's just all bad. He's going for a Fake Out on my Rotom, and I think it's because he's played me before. He knows that I like to use that Scarf for Rotom Heat. Rotom obviously flinches and takes over half, but I get to fire a huge stabbed Leaf Storm off onto the Groudon, chunking it all the way into the red. I was so surprised he just let me do that, as he goes for an Eruption. And I thought I had lost. I was like, all he has to do is Fire Punch my Sceptile, I lose. But Eruption is based off your off your scaling HP, so if you have very low HP when using it, even though it's boosted by the sun, even though it's stabbed, it doesn't really do that much damage. So Groudon has to switch out. This is where we see Shedinja come in. Shedinja Pokemon known for its ability Wonder Guard, and also for the fact that it only has 1 HP. So while Wonder Guard lets it not take damage from anything that isn't super effective, if it does take damage, it just goes down. And Wonder Guard is really cool. I really like seeing Shedinja. It is one of my favorite Pokemon. He totally played me for the fool this turn. He switched out, blocked my Dragon Pulse, and KO'd my Sceptile, and he does take the advantage 4-3. But I have more tricks in store for him. Now, Shedinja, like I said, it's always at 1 HP, but it normally holds a Sash, which will let it pretty much get 2 turns in. Sometimes it holds Sash, sometimes it holds Safety Goggles, sometimes it holds a Lumberry. I'm hoping it's holding a Sash, because my Cresselia has a little trick for it. We're switching out, going in with Ferrothorn here just to block the Sucker Punch, and we come in with Toxic here. Toxic's a move that, it's a poison attack. It doesn't really need to be super effective to really hit this guy, but it takes damage at the end of every turn, and we also see him trade a Toxic back onto my Crest. So, if he wasn't holding a Lumberry, he is going to go down. Well, I'm saying this really awkwardly. He is going to go down because he's not holding a Lumberry. Look at his health tick away. Doesn't even, go down. It's just, bop, and it's all gone. So, Shedinja disappears off the board. And I would say that Shedinja was probably his win condition against this type of board, but I got kind of lucky that he wasn't holding a Lumberry. I mean, if I were to run Shedinja right now, I would for sure be holding a Lumberry. You can play around not having a Focus Sash, because people are going to think you have it anyways, but the Lumberry would have definitely given him an extra life there. So Ferrothorn's going to protect as Groudon comes back in. We're just going to see him go for the straight up hard stab double edge onto my Crest, who's also poisoned. It kind of sucks, but I do have a Citrus Berry to make sure I restore a good amount of HP. I can stick around on the board a little bit longer, but he's too good for me. Remember how my Ferrothorn protected? Well, the Groudon is going to completely read that protect and go for a hard Flamethrower off onto my Crest. Cresselia barely lives, but it does get an Icy Wind off, which is going to potentially make these two Pokemon slower than, my Cresselia next turn. Also, I have an opportunity, because I lowered their speed, to potentially go for a secondary Icy Wind and try and pick up a KO on that Groudon before he takes me out. So I go for the Icy Wind here, and like I said, I talked to him on Twitter. He still thought he was going to be faster than my Cresselia. This Cresselia has a ton of investment in speed, so after an Icy Wind, I pretty much outspeed every common Pokemon at around the 100 base speed level. So he gets his double edge off. He was planning, like I said, to double edge my crest and then flamethrower my Ferrothorn. I EV train correctly just for this matchup, and I pick up the KO on the Groudon and trade crest just for pretty much nothing there. But I still have an attack with Ferrothorn, so I get a chance to attack with Gyro Ball, picking up the KO on Kang, and it's now 2 Pokemon to 1 in my favor. I feel like I'm doing pretty good here. And his last Pokemon is obviously going to be that Kyogre. Kyogre, similar to Groudon, has an ability that makes it water on the board as long as Kyogre's on the board, and no fire attacks can be used. So it's like a super drizzle. It's called Primordial Sea, and Kyogre is probably the 3rd or 4th best new Uber to be used in VGC 2016. But I do have a Rotom who's not terrible against it. At least it can chunk it for a good amount with a stabbed electric attack. So first turn, he's going to go for Protect. That's just because if I wanted to lock myself in the Discharge, I would be potentially attacking my Ferrothorn. I opt to go for Volt Switch instead. It may be doing a little bit less damage, but at least I'm not hitting my Ferrothorn. So another turn goes by. I hit with my Volt Switch. It takes about 35% off this guy, and he goes for probably the best play he could make in this situation. It's actually not hitting Rotom. It's hitting Ferrothorn and praying for a burn. I have a Lumberry on my Ferrothorn anyways, but that was the play. We're going to whip it good and one-shot the rest of his HP with a stabbed Power Whip. The 120 base move. I actually haven't missed one this format. I went for probably 8 or 9 Power-Ups. I've hit all of them. It's so amazing. So, like I said, this is a pretty good battle against a competitor who I know I'm going to have to fight at events. He was just testing the Shedinja, and if he probably had like a Talonflame instead of Shedinja, he probably would have won. He was using it to like mitigate some of the damage, but if he just had a little bit more aggression, I think he would have beaten me. Either way, I won this one. It was a good game, so I hope you guys like this game. If you guys have any opinions on what some of the Pokemon used or opinions on the format in general, leave that in the comments below. I always want to hear that stuff. Other than that, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.